Franklin! Dr. Franklin!
Hello, what is it?
My name is Jonathan Loring Austin, Secretary for the Massachusetts Board of War. I have urgent news from America.
Tell me, Mr. Austin, are the rumors true? Do the British occupy Philadelphia?
I'm afraid so. Congress has fled to York. Wait, there's even greater news. The British General Burgoyne has surrendered his army at Saratoga.
Come in, Mr. Austin. Christmas has come early this year.
Dearest Mother, so much has happened since I last wrote. Winter has arrived, and Philadelphia remains occupied by General Howe and his army. Moses and James took Dr. Franklin's printing press to York before General Howe's soldiers could confiscate it. The Continental Congress will, no doubt, make good use of it. As for Dr. Franklin's house, Captain John Andre has seized it and made himself quite at home. He dines often with Peggy Shippen, the daughter of a local gentleman with sympathies for the crown. The less I say about her, the better. Every night there is a ball. Well, I have gone to one or two to be polite. Under the circumstances, it is impossible to enjoy them. Everyone acts as if we were living in London. But the Americans always do something to remind us that we are in their country, in the midst of a war. Moses and James are now in Newport, in the colony of Rhode Island, to buy inks and papers for the press.
There!
From a merchant who I believe Moses said is Jewish. Little Henri is still here, however, and Captain Andre has delighted in giving him quite a bit of responsibility around the house. But here is my greatest secret. I don't like living with all these strangers, even if they are British. If only you were here, I'm sure I wouldn't be so confused. Your loving daughter, Sarah.
Yes, Ben, you were wise to move out of Paris to this chateau. It's closer to Versailles and far more private than my quarters at the hotel.
Not to mention more inconvenient for the French and British spies.
Dr. Franklin, Mr. Dean, I don't mean to interrupt, but I've just learned some very important news. Paul Wentworth, the chief of Britain's Secret Service, has arrived in Paris.
What in heaven would Wentworth be doing there?
He wants to meet with Dr. Franklin.
Burgoyne's defeat has obviously rocked the British government. Perhaps you should meet with him, Ben?
No, I want you to meet with him first. Hear him out, but commit to nothing. In the meantime, I will pay a private visit to France's foreign minister. We'll play the British off the French so we can get what we want.
And what exactly is that, Dr. Franklin?
Check to your king. It appears we've flushed out a couple of English spies. Now we must seize the opportunity to meet with Comte de Vergennes. A ship sails for America in 4 days. Have these delivered by messenger.
You can count on me, Doctor. Good luck.
This should be the place. Would it be all right for me to look around? I want to check on the Rhode Island Brigade and see how they're doing against the British.
I suppose. There's no point in buying inks and papers if we don't have something to print.
I'll check at the State House and come right back here.
That telescope's imported from Italy. Can I help you find something in particular, sir?
I wrote you from Philadelphia about inks and paper.
Ah, yes. Dr. Franklin's man, Moses.
You've got a good memory.
Well, you and I do share the name of the man who led my people out of slavery in Egypt. Moses Michael Hayes, at your service.
If you don't mind me saying, I haven't met many Israelites.
Neither have I, for that matter. We are but a small fraction of the American population. But I take it, Moses, that you are a free man.
Yes, sir.
Many less fortunate than you have been bought and sold on the docks here in Newport. Some, I have to admit, by my own people.
And some in Africa by mine as well.
But forgive my manners. May I offer you something to eat or drink?
I wouldn't want to impose.
It won't be fancy, I assure you. I lost everything I own when a ship I purchased went down in a gale. In fact, I've only recently come out of debtor's jail. A lonely place, I can assure you. But I don't have to tell you what it feels like to not be free.
Makes a man value every day he is free.
Please.
Thank you.
It's a funny thing about freedom. A lot of people talk about it without really understanding it.
That's a fact.
I moved here because Rhode Island guaranteed freedom of religion. Well, my people here do have our own temple of worship, but we're still not considered full-fledged citizens. Still, I'd rather be a free man in the United States than a servant to the Pharaoh of England. I mean the king.
Moses!
Yes?
He works with me at the newspaper.
I see.
I found out about the Rhode Island Brigade, all right. They sent a list of people they suspect of being Tories to the Rhode Island Assembly. Now, the Assembly has posted a list of suspects that it's demanding take a loyalty test by signing an oath in public.
Mr. Hayes, I'm afraid your name is on this list.
All of France is impressed with the recent American victories, Dr. Franklin.
As I've told you before, the United States will win this war. With France at our side, it will take a matter of months, not years. That one looks quite tasty. Of course, that looks good too.
Please, Dr. Franklin, take them both.
I hate to ask too much of you.
France insists.
Merci beaucoup.
Unfortunately, Doctor, His Majesty King Louis does not wish to offend his brother-in-law, King Charles of Spain, by signing a treaty of alliance with the United States.
I thought this was between France and the United States.
Spain owns a vast amount of land in America. King Charles feels that if you have taken what is England's, then you most certainly will take what is his. And France cannot make any agreement without King Charles' approval.
I've been a patient man, and I don't mean to be rude, but given the circumstances,
At least stay and finish your pastries.
I'm sorry, but suddenly I feel in the mood for some English tea. Au revoir.
Surely now that the American capital has been taken, the rebels will see the error of their ways. No less than Lord North himself assures me that Parliament will soon publish new terms of settlement for the colonies.
I trust it will break their will as well as their backs.
Now, John, they are of British descent after all. No, I believe the terms will be quite generous as long as the Americans are willing to give up their stubborn notion of independence.
What are you doing here?
Spying on them!
Get back in the kitchen before you get caught.
Of this, I'm certain. Once news we've occupied Philadelphia reaches France, the French will turn their backs on the rebels for good. They're much too vain to fight for a lost cause. Besides which, everyone knows they despise the notion of liberty.
The French will help! And even though King Louis may not believe in égalité, fraternité, et liberté, the French people do!
Equality! Brotherhood! Liberty!
Hey! Put me down!
Well done!
If I may speak, General Howe,
By all means, Miss Phillips.
from what I've seen, too much has changed for the Americans to accept anything less than full independence.
Oh, that is such a foolish little idea.
No, it's not. You may occupy their homes, but you will never win their hearts and minds.
Have you forgotten that you are English?
It has nothing to do with me, Captain. The Americans don't feel they need a king anymore. They believe they can rule themselves.
Rule themselves!
I, for one, would like to propose a toast. God bless King George.
God bless King George!
God bless King George.
Moses Michael Hayes?
Yes? What can I do for you?
Moses Hayes, you have been summoned to the State House.
Take him away!
We don't need the likes of you.
I still don't believe it. The nerve, the gall, the absolute cheek of the British. You asked me to listen to Mr. Wentworth, and I did. But to insult you and me by offering us money and titles in exchange for becoming turncoats?
No doubt Count de Vergennes already has heard the details from his spies. This is all going extremely well.
Going well? I don't understand.
We have fanned the flames between Britain and France. Now it's time for me to meet with Mr. Wentworth.
But surely you don't intend to accept his offer?
Hardly, but Count de Vergennes won't know that.
There they are! Rotten Tories! Look at it! Traitors!
I have here a list of men accused of being disloyal to the patriotic cause of American independence.
Read the names!
Get the traitors out! We don't want them here!
As a representative of the Rhode Island Assembly, I am here today to demand that each and every one of the accused sign a public oath of loyalty to the Revolution. Moses Michael Hayes, step forward. Mr. Hayes, are you ready to sign the oath?
I have the right to face my accusers. Who here has any proof of my disloyalty? Or is it that there is some other reason I am accused? Could it be that I am an Israelite?
Will you sign the oath or not?
Every time I venture to Paris, I am reminded of how much I despise it. Quite a beastly place, don't you agree, Dr. Franklin?
Actually, I've grown quite fond of it.
I understand you're quite the celebrity here. Yet your blood is English. A man of your character, given the proper circumstances, might find a warm reception from his king and country.
In other words, you'll give me a title if I betray the revolution.
If you insist on being blunt, very well. Yes, His Majesty is prepared to reward those who show their loyalty. I need not remind you that much has changed since you came to France. General Howe has taken Philadelphia.
I like to think that Philadelphia has taken Howe.
This letter was given to me by a man at the highest level of the British government. It is Britain's determination to fight for another 10 years rather than grant American independence.
In that case, America is ready to fight 50 years to win it, which, by the way, I don't believe will be necessary.
Gentlemen, I've called you here tonight because it has come to my attention that Dr. Franklin met today with the Chief of Britain's Secret Service. I'm afraid we are facing a dangerous new development. France has already lost America to Britain. Do we stand by and lose our claim to the West Indies as well? His Majesty has told me that we must prevent this from happening at all costs. We have held off any alliance with the United States to prevent a war with Britain, but we must face the fact that the only thing worse than such a war would be an agreement between Britain and America. It is time for this council to act.
With all due respect, I will not sign. I will not sign because I am as patriotic as any man in this room. But I am also an Israelite in a land of Christians, and as such, I have not been granted the liberty to vote. My people have a temple here in Newport, but none in Boston, for the law there forbids Jews from public worship. Rhode Island was founded on religious tolerance, yet I am still not considered a citizen. And why? Because I worship God after my own fashion. Neither the Continental Congress, nor the General Assembly of this state, nor the legislatures of any of the other colonies have ever taken notice or provided rights to Israelites. Until such a time as we are, all of us, ready to recognize each other as equals, I will not sign this oath.
Dr. Franklin's plan was masterfully executed. Comte de Vergennes has signed a treaty of alliance with the United States. King Louis has finally agreed to grant Dr. Franklin an audience. It will mean war between Britain and France.
You've given us every single letter Dr. Franklin has written to Congress. Why not just intercept the treaty as well?
Even I can't do that.
You think Franklin suspects you're a spy?
The old man has no idea. It's a secret I shall take to my grave.
I believe you will. Here you go, Edward. 500 pounds as promised.
God save King George.
Mr. Hayes, it's Moses.
Moses, I'm sorry. You came here to buy those inks and the paper, and we never did get around to it.
There's no need to apologize. I saw what you did, what you said.
I just want to be treated the same as any other man.
Mr. Hayes, there are some people outside who want to see you.
What can I do for you?
Mr. Hayes, you made a great deal of sense. If all men are created equal, it only seems fair that each and every one of us should sign the oath.
You would really do this?
Permit me to be the first.
I, Moses Michael Hayes, pledge my loyalty to the United States of America.
Moses, do you really think all men are created equal?
An idea's only as strong as the people who stand up for it. And a lot more people are going to have to stand up for equality before it comes true.
Is it true? Has the treaty from France arrived?
Yes, and Richard Henry Lee is about to speak.
Gentlemen of Congress, today we must admire the true wisdom and dignity of the court of France. We have worked together, politicians, soldiers, and philosophers, in a true harmony of mutual affection. This happy juncture of time and circumstance has laid the seeds of an eternal friendship. The old lion that is Britain has finally lost its growl, and France, by its openness, has won our friendship more powerfully than any piece of paper could ever bind us. If we have the courage to persevere, we shall establish our liberties and independence. All those in favor of ratifying the treaty, say aye. Aye! The Treaty of Alliance with France is unanimously passed.
As spring brings with it its promise of new beginnings, I am thrilled that America and France are now allies. I'm certain this new alliance will bring peace. The British will have no stomach for being drawn into a world war with France. However, I have a grave concern. So grave that I have sent this note by secret messenger to ensure its safe arrival. The Minister of France will arrive on United States shores in a month. We must greet him as one united nation, not 13 separate states. Please convey my deepest sense of urgency to Henry Laurens and the other members of Congress to set aside their differences and speak with a strong, united voice.
Virginia's arguments make no sense.
Maryland's arguments are madness.
Their voices might not be united, but they are strong.
Gentlemen, 3 years have passed since Benjamin Franklin wrote a draft of these Articles of Confederation, and we still cannot find the resolve to pass them. As president of this Congress, I find this shameful.
Hear, hear.
We'll approve them when they are fair.
Mr. Chase is being unreasonable.
Mr. Lee is being ridiculous.
Excuse me, Mr. Laurens. This just arrived.
News from Dr. Franklin in France. The French minister will arrive in less than 1 month. He must see us as a united nation, or our critical alliance with France may not stand. Gentlemen, our very freedom is at stake.
I knew this was going to happen!
Listen to me!
I say, Maryland, your time has come.
I sometimes wish Congress were more like the army. One person gives orders, and others follow without question.
Sort of like having a king.
Huh?
Why not identify the specific points of contention and address them one by one?
I second that motion.
Virginia and Maryland agree? It's a miracle.
This way! Over here!
If you're going to be my assistant, you've got to learn to be on time and to not run into the journalist.
Sorry, what did I miss?
See those women over there? They're Philadelphia washerwomen and spies for General Washington.
Real spies!
They say the British officers have demanded their laundry by next week, whether it's finished or not. You know what that means.
They don't care if they wear dirty clothes?
No, it means the British are finally withdrawing from Philadelphia. This is a huge story for me.
Sure is, but what happens to the spies when you write it?
Ladies, you have done your country a great service. Thank you. We have before us a great opportunity. Mr. Hamilton, call a war council for this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Wow! Did you see that?
Sure. General Washington is working with the Wappinger to form an Indian company to fight the British.
I was talking about his feathers. Excusez-moi, but those are the most wonderful feathers I have ever seen.
I earned them in a tribal contest.
You have to win them in a contest?
These, yes, but there are plenty of other turkey feathers around. All you have to do is catch a turkey and pluck a feather.
Gentlemen, we have identified the three major issues that block our ratification of the Articles of Confederation. 1. How to divide the expenses of a central government among the different states.
It's absurd! A state like mine, Maryland, with limited land and resources, cannot be expected to pay the same for this war as Lee's Virginia, which claims vastly more territory and the right to expand.
Vastly more territory?
Well said! Ridiculous!
Where are you going?
Outside. It's too windy in here.
Here, turkey, 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 turkey. Not fair. You're supposed to hold still.
In spite of the British withdrawal from Philadelphia, and in spite of their slow retreat, I can hardly credit your desire to attack them, General. Only a fool would seriously consider such a move.
Sir, you are speaking to your...
Oh, it's tantalizing to be sure, but it's exactly what they want us to do. Right, Achilles? Let's not deceive ourselves. The British have been in control of this war from the outset.
I suppose that's why they've replaced General Howe with General Clinton.
It is hardly for us to second-guess the greatest army in the world. Clinton is an able soldier with many a victory to his credit. General Greene, how many battles have you won? Or, for that matter, has our commander-in-chief?
Sir, you're not going to accept these outrageous slurs on your honor.
What the American soldier does best is run away. General Washington wisely knows this, and no doubt will soon recognize the folly of mounting any sort of attack.
So, we're to do nothing and waste this golden opportunity to strike at our foe?
Sadly, Monsieur Lafayette, it is not for me, the most experienced soldier here, to make that decision.
Gentlemen, I suggest we adjourn for a while so that I might consider your counsel.
Whose side is General Lee on, anyway?
I'm starting to wonder why we bought him out of British custody. At least we could have left behind his poodles.
They shame their French blood. I finally found that dumb one. Just a little further. Whoa. Ouch!
That's an unusual way to hunt turkey.
It's how you tell a smart one from a dumb one.
The turkey or the hunter?
Hunter, I'm afraid. I'm Henri.
Abraham Nimham. I could teach you an easier way to hunt turkey. The way of my people, the Wappinger.
That would be great! Only, could you get me down first?
Since we have failed to resolve the issue of how to split federal expenses, could we at least agree on how each state is to be represented in Congress?
We have a perfectly adequate system now. One state, one vote.
Are there any objections to the present arrangement?
If they can agree on this, maybe they can agree on the other points.
Then we are in accord.
Aye!
Finally. Let's push on to the next issue.
Mr. President, Maryland insists that General Washington deliver us a victory on the field of battle. Why not? A victory would impress the French more than any act this Congress might pass.
Mr. Chase, this Congress can't even agree on whether or not Washington is worthy of his command. Let us get back to the business at hand.
He speaks the truth. Never mind Washington. Let's get to the articles.
Leave him alone to do his job, and let's do ours.
Some delegates don't believe in General Washington?
All of them could use more of the general's determination to unite this country.
When will they come?
Their retreating column is 8 to 10 miles long?
Yes, and despite the heat, they wear wool uniforms and carry full packs. They are struggling.
Gentlemen, I believe we should seize this opportunity to strike the enemy while he is most vulnerable. What do you say?
We could easily attack their flank and rear without getting into a full-blown battle.
We'll never have a chance like this again. I say we fight.
General Lee?
I am passionately opposed to such an action.
Lee, your opposition to this attack borders on treachery.
I'm sorry, sir, no. It's logic. Why risk disaster when a French alliance is so near to hand?
Because we must show the French we are worthy of an alliance, sir.
And with a victory, deal the British a double blow. We shall attack. That is my decision, and it is final. General, command of the striking force is yours. 1,500 men.
I'm sorry. I must refuse. $1,500 men. Paltry number. I had to turn it down on principle. Isn't that so, Achilles? Washington wouldn't dare engage the enemy without me. He knows that I am his military superior. He's not fit to command a sergeant guard. No, he won't move forward without me. If he does, it will be the end of him.
We'll have 1,500 men, and if we come up on their flank, we'll be able to take them over.
You mustn't breathe a word to anyone. These are military secrets.
My dear Marquis, if Lee stays true to his conviction and refuses to lead this attack, I'll need you to step in.
Your Excellency, I'll begin drawing up plans immediately.
I've called this private meeting so that we three might reach an agreement about the most difficult issue before us. Then we can talk to the others. The states with western territories like Maryland will be asked to hand them over to the central government.
What will we get in return?
We can't expect either side to be completely happy, Samuel.
You're a sly one, Henry, making it Richard and my responsibility to convince our colleagues.
Sam, we must end this impasse.
Excuse me for interrupting.
Good evening, Miss Phillips. Washington intends to engage the enemy. This is it, gentlemen. Washington must win this battle.
Hurry, Henri! They're reviewing the battle plans. Whoa, excuse us.
I understand that you've placed 5,000 men under the command of a 20-year-old boy.
Not a boy, sir. The Marquis de Lafayette.
Half the army. I am insulted, sir.
General, you turned down the command.
I disapproved of the strategy. Nevertheless, my honor requires that I now take charge of what has become a major engagement.
You are entitled to the command, General. It is yours if you want it. You will attack tomorrow at dawn, concentrating horse and battery on the British west flank at Monmouth. I suspected he'd come around.
Let's hope he fights as fiercely on the field as he does at headquarters.
General Lee?
I have been charged by Washington to take over here. I'll require a full accounting of your forces, cavalry, artillery, and infantry.
Certainement. And I can show you my plans.
I have no use for your plans.
Of course. You have your own.
No, to draw up plans is pointless, as the enemy is on the march. I shall improvise my strategy in response to his movements.
Our forces are now positioned to give Lee complete support. Gentlemen, it has begun.
Look at all those feathers! One of you drop me a feather!
Henri, come back here! We need to stay with Henri! Henri! Where are you? Henri, come on!
You there, Pfeiffer! Where are you going?
Our troops are in retreat, sir.
He's telling the truth. Look!
Henri!
Oh, you cost me my feather!
You're lucky it wasn't your life.
There's General Poodles.
General Lee, what's he doing here?
Look, regarde!
Lee, what on this earth are you about?
I have ordered a general retreat.
You coward! That is contrary to my orders.
Coward? The soldiers, your soldiers, were out of control, constantly disobeying me. I found myself on the most extensive plain in America, where such troops as I commanded would be helpless before the enemy horse. And as you well know, I was against this from the start.
All this may be true, but you should not have undertaken it unless you intended to go through with it.
Open your eyes! These farmers are no match for the British Army.
Quit the field, sir. You are relieved of your command.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm the only professional soldier you have.
I will not suffer you to scorn these worthy men, let alone command them for 1 minute more. Yeah! I will not allow us to lose this battle. Take positions behind those hedgerows and hold that ridge. We are through running.
Washington, what a hero!
And what a story!
Despite the awful heat, our reorganized troops turned away several enemy assaults. Though the day ended in a draw, the British have learned new respect for the fighting resolve of our army. In your service, General George Washington. we remain at a stalemate in our effort to pass the Articles of Confederation. This is the kind of fortitude and discipline we need if we are to become one nation. I can only hope we're capable of it.
We can do it!
Hear, hear.
We are
Hear,
capable!
hear. We can be one nation.
Hear, hear.
We must unite!
In the longest battle of the war so far, our commander-in-chief has shown the world he deserves that title. And Washington has agreed, with deep regret, to grant General Lee a court-martial. It's been an exhausting time for soldier and civilian alike. But we've all learned that even the best plans are meaningless without the discipline and determination to see them through. Ha! Speaking of exhausted.
Sarah, this is a mistake. The journey will take months.
That's why I've hired a fine, dependable guide, Mr. Pettyjohn.
And Ohio is wild.
Bears, Sarah! Wolves!
It's the frontier. It's uncivilized.
You know I appreciate your concern, but neither Mother nor I have had a letter from Father in years. We must find out if he's all right. I must find out.
That's twice what carrots cost me a few weeks ago. How am I supposed to feed my children? Yes, Peter, I know you're hungry.
I'm ready, please, Mr. Pettyjohn.
Wait for me!
Sarah, wait!
Do we have to shout it in your face? We're worried we'll never see you again.
I look forward to introducing you to Father.
At least let me come along to protect you.
Mr. Pettyjohn? Mr. Pettyjohn, where are you? My bag! Mr. Pettyjohn? Mr. Pettyjohn, come back! I've traveled 2 months and too far to fail. Please don't leave me, Mr. Pettyjohn. How far have I walked these past 2 days? I'm so hungry. I'll just rest for a moment. Oh, Father, where are you?
I am Cornstalk. No one will hurt you here.
You're free to go. You're free to stay. Some white people stay.
I will leave as soon as I'm stronger.
I am glad you've come at this important moment. The meeting will begin soon. Running Deer found a white girl unconscious in the woods. She's scared of me. I will take you to her after I greet the other chiefs.
We can't afford ink at that price. That's almost half again what it cost last month.
That's not my problem, lad.
But we won't be able to publish the Gazette. How will the citizens get news of the war?
I have to eat too. Are you buying the ink or not?
Not.
Good day to you then.
How did you do that?
I have brought a white man.
Do you speak English? My name is Sarah Phillips.
My name is Samuel. Samuel Phillips.
Father?
Sarah, my Sarah. I thought you went back to London.
Father? Whiskers? Look at you!
I suppose I no longer look the proper British officer. But Sarah, the war! I wrote to you telling you to return to your mother. Your mother, is she well?
Yes, Father, she's well.
She's answered none of my letters. And neither have you. I was afraid.
I've received just 2 letters, Father. Nothing since 75. That's why I had to find you.
It's a miracle that you did. Sarah, have you fallen in love with this land as I have? Look at this place. Walking where no Englishman has walked before. Living with my hands. Not taking orders from anyone. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Attend, hot! You must tell me about yourself, Sarah. Look at you. I barely know you. Come, start as we walk back to the village. There's a tribal council I must attend with my friend, Chief Cornstalk.
We, the good citizens of Philadelphia, urgently request that the local militia expel from our town all disaffected persons and their supporters. You know what disaffected persons are? Working people who don't want to be poor, who want to feed their kids and aren't afraid to say so. We are the good citizens of Philadelphia. We're the real patriots. We're supporting this war on our backs. The rich want us to shut our mouths while their children stuff themselves. The rich people are not playing by the rules of our new country. All we want is a fair shake. Come to a meeting at Patty Burns' Tavern at 9 tomorrow and tell everyone you know.
And I'll report on the meeting in the Pennsylvania Gazette.
Excellent, lad. You rich men, are you scared of us poor working Americans? Maybe you're right to be scared.
We must fight the Americans. Why should we honor the Treaty of Camp Charlotte? The Americans haven't. They're supposed to let us live north of the Ohio River in peace. But they burn our fields. They cut down trees. They slaughter game for sport. They shoot at us on our shore. Why must we turn our backs when we're injured? We're losing our land, our lives, our self-respect. I don't say we should attack the Americans if they leave us alone. I say we should protect ourselves if they attack us, or else we will be destroyed.
I gave my word to the Americans that we would remain at peace. So did many of you. I have never gone back on my word. Have you? But one thing concerns me even more than my honor as a man: the survival of my people. If we fight the Americans, they will come at us until they destroy us. We do not have the strength to drive them out. Our best hope is that the Americans lose the white man's war to the English. I am a warrior. It is hard for me not to fight the Americans, but if we can survive this war and the English win, we will give our sons and our daughters and their sons and daughters a chance to survive too.
Well played, Sarah.
Sarah, you would be a good Shawnee.
Why, thank you, Ilinipsico.
That's a high compliment, Sarah. They believe most white people are bad people.
Our grandmothers told us so.
I haven't met your grandmother.
Our grandmother is the Shawnee's god.
Oh.
Our grandmother watches over us. She gives us good harvests and hunting trips and victory in games. Cornstalk! Red Feather, what is it? Cornstalk! Our fishing party! American soldiers! I alone am alive.
We must move our village again.
No! We must defend ourselves!
My people are enraged by the Americans' violence. I don't know if I can keep the peace any longer. I am bound by honor to tell the Americans that. I must go to Fort Randolph. My son will go with me.
Let me go too. I know the commander, Matthew Arbuckle. Maybe I can help.
Let's send them a message they can't ignore. 3 years ago, James Wilson signed the Declaration of Independence. Now, he's a British sympathizer who's robbing us blind. I say we take Wilson, tar and feather him, and ride him out of town on a rail.
Let's go. I want you boys away from trouble.
Wait! Don't do it!
Uh-oh.
The journalist! I thought you were with us.
I am with you. I'm with you that there needs to be justice for everyone. But this isn't justice. This is wrong. You don't just grab someone and hurt him.
I'm starting to think maybe there's another one who needs tar and feathering. Forget the boy. Let's get Wilson. Get Wilson! Let's go!
Father?
Yes, Sarah.
Are you English? Or are you American?
How many times I've asked myself the same question. The men at the fort consider me an American frontiersman now. And so do I.
I'm not sure Mother would be happy to hear that.
Nor am I. But I fell in love with this country just like I fell in love with her. It's freedom, Sarah. American freedom. I've traveled the world and there's nothing like it anywhere. And you, Sarah, are you an American?
I'd hope seeing you would convince me that I'm not.
Come!
Fort Randolph.
What will happen to the Shawnees if the Americans win the war?
I don't want to think about it.
Come out of there, you Tory!
Come and get your due!
James Wilson had been warned that he was the mob's target and withdrew into his sturdy home with 20 supporters.
Come out, Wilson, before we have to destroy your pretty house! Call for the cannon!
I will return to my people and urge them to leave this area, but they might attack you instead.
So, Chief, you're telling me it's possible that any second now we could be at war with the Shawnee?
Yes, I have warned you, and now we will go.
You're lucky you're a retired British major, Sam, or I'd have to throw you in the guardhouse with my new enemies here. Take them, and keep them safe.
But Matthew!
Sir, Cornstalk came here in peace and honor to warn you about the very people he tried to talk out of attacking you.
Sam, I suggest you take your daughter as far from this place as you can.
Joseph Reed, president of our city's executive council, led his light horse in breaking up the crowd. 5 men died in the Fort Wilson riot and 17 were wounded. James Wilson is not an angel, but in our new nation, everyone has the right to due process of law. Just as the writer of this piece, who was threatened with bodily harm for daring to take issue with the mob, has the right, nay, the responsibility, to write the truth as he sees it. In the United States of America, we, the people, have the freedom to write what we want to write.
I lost you for 6 years, Sarah. I'll not risk losing you forever. We couldn't help Cornstalk and Ilonipsico, something for which I will forever be sorry.
What will happen to them, Father?
They'll probably be held as hostages and traded to the Shawnee for American prisoners.
Run! Robert Gilmore! The Shawnee killed him! In the fort! Run!
Now I fear for our friends' lives.
They wouldn't. Ilonipsico!
I will never understand white men. They have no rules, no honor. The war has been a disaster for the Shawnee.
What will happen to us, Father?
We will fight the Americans and be destroyed.
And what will happen to us?
Maybe the Americans will trade us for soldiers. Maybe they will kill us. If they do, since we are warriors, our souls will enjoy a special place with our grandmother in heaven, where we will feast and dance forever.
I said, don't touch the Shawnees. We can swap them for our own.
No, Captain. We're gonna do to them what they did to Robert.
Ilonipsico, I've seen you grow to manhood. I'm proud of the man you become.
We will have vengeance for our great chief and his son. We will make the river safe for our fishermen to fish in and our children to bathe in. We will drive the white man from the Valley of Ohio forever.
Father! What kind of land is this? Will the fighting never stop?
Sarah, listen to me. Listen to me. I was deceiving myself thinking you and your mother could join me here. The Ohio frontier is too wild. I would like to take you out of here now myself, but I can't. I must help my Shawnee friends through this difficult time. I made a solemn promise to Cornstalk that I would do so.
But what if...
I will survive this war. This too, I promise. And so will you, Sarah.
Father, I want to go home.
To Philadelphia.
To England. To Mother. I can't bear the violence anymore, Father. Can you forgive me?
There's nothing to forgive. I'll be happy to have you far away from the fighting. When the war is over, you and your mother will join me in New York or Massachusetts or Connecticut, and we will live our lives as we please together.
What if we don't want to come?
Then I shall say goodbye to this land I love and join you and your mother in England. I wonder whether she'll like me in whiskers.
Dearest Sarah, James, Henri, and Moses, now that the work of achieving a treaty with France is complete, I find my duties have become even more considerable than before. Articles to write, funds to raise, boring soirees with fine gentlemen in powdered wigs. Fiddlesticks, forget this war for a moment. How I miss you all, and how I look forward to being reunited soon in the city I love, with the people I love. How I long for the day when we shall merrily dance and sing together. I shall play my fiddle, badly of course, but no matter, because all of us, we dear, dear friends, will be living together in freedom in our new nation.